If you've watched any of our television programs, if you've listened to the Downrange Radio podcast for the last 2 or 3 years, you will know that I am a huge, huge fan of competition. I think there is no better way to learn gun handling skills than to compete. It's like, say, buying a piano. I could buy a piano and set it in my house. I could walk past that piano every day and I could tell everybody that I know that I have a piano, but unless I practice, I can't play that piano well. There's another really important element to competition, and I call that stress inoculation. It's perfectly fair to say that the stress of competition is fake stress. I mean, there's a guy holding a timer to your head, not a gun to your head, and if you really fail to do a good job on the stage, they're not going to bury you there. But the thing is that artificial stress inoculates you against real stress. In the same way that cowpox, a milder version of the disease, guards you against smallpox, the deadly disease. Every time you step up to the line, that buzzer goes off and you have to complete a course of fire. You're getting a little bit of an inoculation in stress. You're having to function under stress. And here's an interesting and very, very important point. People learn best under stress. Remember, we talk about the inner monkey, we talk about that evolutionary wiring. Part of that wiring says, boy, this is a really stressful situation. I need how to learn to do this very, very well. Because it's a survival issue. It's a survival of the species issue. The monkeys that passed on their genes did so because they were actually really good at handling stress. So each time you compete, you're giving yourself a stress inoculation. That stress inoculation works regardless of the competition. USPSA, United States Practical Shooting Association, IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association, even the cowboys. You can shoot cowboy shooting. The buzzer still goes off next to your ear. You still need to complete a course of fire. I would strongly recommend that you take a good hard look at IDPA. Why? You get to compete with the gun you're carrying. That's an important thing. You're going to buy a carry gun. You're going to pick this gun and you're going to say, this is the best gun for me. Well, you can take this gun straight to an IDPA match and compete with it. You're also going to be using a covering garment. We talked about how that vest is a shorthand for covering garment. Well, you're going to be using that vest there. And each time, you're going to have to draw from concealment. So not only are you getting the stress inoculation, but you're getting critical gun handling skills. And finally, we filmed a really interesting class several years back. It was an advanced concealed carry class, and there were 4 students. 2 of those students were roughly, I don't know, mid-level IDPA competitors. 2 of the students were people who felt very strongly that competition might give them some bad skills, might give them something that would get them hurt on the street. They're very dedicated in their practice. They shot against each other, competing on the range, spent 2 days, 3 days a week on the range. They had excellent shooting skills. But what happened was when the gun stops working, and believe me, anything made by people breaks. When the gun jammed, the competitors had no trouble because they'd cleared a lot of jams. They tapped, they racked, they went bang, it worked. Because they'd done it so many times on the range. Their gun handling skills were wildly superior to 2 guys who had excellent marksmanship skills. If you told them to shoot a target at 50 yards, they were perfect. But under that stress of the buzzer, they made gun handling mistakes. The more you shoot, the better your gun handling. And in anything like IDPA competition, and by the way, this was a stage from the IDPA World Championships, you're going to learn the right gun handling skills the right way.